So now we move on to Article 51A, and we have this heading, Fundamental Duties. Article 51A, one very important thing we need to remember, Article 51A is inserted in the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment Act. Very important, in the year 1976. This is also known as the mini constitution. Lots of amendments happening this time around in the 42nd Amendment Act. It's also known as the mini constitution. Kindly bear in mind, kindly make a note of all this. So Article 51A, fundamental duties, are actually not duties of mandatory nature again, but that if you are enjoying certain rights, it is always said you are having corresponding duties. If you are enjoying rights, if you are having this freedom and democracy, if it's not an anarchy in India, if it's such a beautiful form of government in India, people actually love it. There is no military rule, there are no pressures from the dictator side, there is no dictatorship, there is no communalism. It is democracy in India, the people's government ruling the nation. So something like 51A, it's seen that the state also tries to foster, tries to put into its citizens. It shall be the duty of every citizen to actually abide by whatever has been enshrined in 51A. It shall be a moral duty of Indian citizens to follow what is written in 51A, and we shall write it down. That the very first clause that comes in Article 51A with a small a, that is that every citizen of India should abide by the Constitution. Constitution of India is also the supreme rule of law. Nothing above the Constitution of India. It is ever so supreme. It is the apex of everyone, of any legislature, of any executive, of any form of judiciary. The Constitution is ever so supreme. Supreme rule of law. Rule of law was a term coined by Professor A.V. Dicey. A.V. Dicey of England, of UK, and the Constitution of India. So every citizen should be seeing this. We have studied this in preamble also. Our preamble also states that we be sovereign. When we write that we, the people of India, have given ourselves this constitution where we observe sovereignty. We observe sovereignty towards the Constitution of India. We are not sovereign to the executive. We are not sovereign to some prime minister, some chief minister, to some governor. No. We are sovereign to the Constitution of India, to the fundamentals taught, the fundamentals enshrined in the Constitution of India, to whatever is written word by word in the Constitution of India. We are sovereign to that. We are preserving our feelings for that purpose, for preserving the features, for conserving what is all said in the Constitution of India. So it shall be duty of every citizen to abide by the Constitution of India, respect the national flag, respect all the national monuments, national flag and national monuments. And the national anthem also, our symbol, the national emblem that is there it's found on the Sarnath pillar, and it has those four heads. Visible are three, it is actually that the one is behind. So the national emblem, that we cherish such noble emblems. We cherish the national anthem, also been voted for the best national anthem, also has been one of the best. The Indian national anthem is something very great. We respect it. So whenever we hear national anthem, it shall be a duty, it shall be from within, that you at least stand up and you respect it. We go in movie theatres, they say please stand up for the national anthem. Yes, undoubtedly everyone stands up when the national anthem is going around, but stand and respect, with not their heads hung low, but not their heads hung high also. It's a sense of pride. When the national anthem is going on, it's a sense of pride in our hearts. And then when we hear about the whole of India in your limited time of national anthem, in your 52 seconds of your national anthem, we know the whole of India, the people, the culture, the languages, the tradition. It is ever so beautiful. The national anthem of India is something very great. The national flag of India is a symbol which epitomizes that India is a great nation. That India is something. The chakra in center of the flag, the Ashoka chakra, is some great symbol that has 24 spokes. It says, yes, we Indians, we believe in work 24 hours. We do not rest, we work 24 hours for the prosperity of this nation. The three colors define prosperity in various fields, in various aspects, and they define India particularly very well. The tricolor bears a place in our heart where we respect the flag much, where it is a duty, it's a moral duty of all the citizens of India to abide by it. Where the next part, the B, is written down: to cherish and follow noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. To cherish such ideals, to take such ideals in our day-to-day lives, to pursue such ideals, to talk more about it when we have some events or the birth anniversaries of our freedom fighters. Please bear in mind this very place, Swatantra Veer Savarkar Rashtriya Smarak, again is after the great freedom fighter Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, and here also we cherish his ideologies. If you happen to come down to this place, you will see a terrace full of statues of such people who took part in the national freedom struggle, where you have some meets, where you have students coming up talking more about them, where they elaborate more on what the freedom fighters did. We have these places, we have these monuments where you can actually come down, and we have a library, a fantastic library, where you have very nice books written down by Savarkar and some very great ideologies preserved in that. So it is always a moral duty for us to cherish, to remember what happened, what phase we went through. Now we are independent, post-independence we need to grow now. We need to take those ideals, we need to take a step, we need to follow them. We need to see to it that India is undivided now, and that we do not divide further, and we do not call in for some external aggression now on. We say no, you keep a distance, we follow them. C part is to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Integrity is something very important for a nation like India, which is a developing nation. Integrity is something very, very, very important. Where the sovereignty towards the supreme rule of law, of course, the unity, we stand united, we stand as integral parts, as citizens we are united. We don't have communal riots going around, that we are not inflicted by any ideologies that come across in our ways, so that we deviate from daily good work that we do. So the integral part, the integrity, एकाग्रता जो है हमारी, जो unity है हमारी, वो ना टूटे कभी भी, that we are united, come what may be. We celebrate each other's festivals. We are there. We celebrate the Christmas. We celebrate the Eid. We celebrate Diwali with great pomp and show. We have this holy, beautiful festival of Holi, where we are with each other, a festival of colors, where we have a great culture, great tradition, where we move out to places. We enjoy the foods of places, where we move out to places, we purchase good handicrafts, some very fine artistic things that we purchase. So within our nation, yes, we have this sense of feeling. I am not Maharashtrian or a Gujarati, I am an Indian. I am someone who believes, yes, we are Indian. The whole territory of India belongs to me. I am having being given a free allowance to move down to every part, every single inch of the territory of India, so that the nation that I see, I observe that we share something between the people, where part D asks us to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. Yes, of course, defending the country, you will say there is a great defense system set up for all this. Why do we need to defend the country? We have the defense. As citizens of India, then why is the constitution calling us that you come upon and you render this? But yes, when national service is required, when soldiers are wounded, and if need be, that you give them food for a little time, that they are at the borders or at their line of control, and your people or village situated very near to the line of control, people do it. People do it without even asking them to do so. People do it, and soldiers are given good amount of treatment, good amount of facilities, water supply, given food, and seen to it that they are given primary healthcare facilities. There are doctors from such villages and nearby towns rushing to these army camps and providing them services, or national service of any kind, if it is a matter of your country. That is what fundamental duties is actually aiming at, that if it is a call of nation, call for your nation, that you be ready every time, and then you are ready to provide and render national service when you are called upon to do so. Where E is to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, from all religions, languages, from all regions and all sectional diversities, and to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Some very important, after a semicolon, this statement stated that you give up these practices which can be derogatory to the dignity of women, which can hamper the dignity of women. Give up such practices. Women in India are seen as a symbol of great respect. That women in India are to be seen as, we worship women in India. Forget about other parts of the world, I don't know. But yes, in India, we worship women. We have goddesses. We have statues of goddesses, where in different parts of India, they have been given different names, where forms of the Durga and the Kali, the Saraswati are being worshipped. The Lakshmi, every form of. So we worship them. We give them this position that yes, they are something in our lives. So practices which are derogatory to the dignity of women shall be, I think, strictly given up. We gentlemen need to promise, we need to raise our hands and say, yes, I do this. I will be a person who shall see to it. It is not about moral policing. It is not about stopping people from staring at women. It's not about stopping people from eavesdropping. But yes, in a moral manner you can. In a way it can be done. It is not about thrashing, beating people, such people. It's in a way you can tell them, impart this piece of knowledge, that it can be someone from your family tomorrow who someone is teasing or is being hurt with eve teasing. Then what will you do? This can be said in a very nice manner. It can be delivered across in a very good way, and this issue can be resolved in that manner, where F is to value and preserve rich heritage of our composite culture, where we need to preserve. We have a huge culture in India being followed. With this part, F is asking us to preserve the composite culture, where we have a mixed culture, where we follow our tradition. Very simple reason, very simple example that I give. People in Mumbai around, yes, in evening they may have this, that we like to snack in a quick bhel puri or a vada pav. It may be a western or a North Indian snack. The morning, the days can actually begin with, idli sambar or a sada dosa with tea. So it's a composite culture. We like these South Indian dishes. In the 11 o'clock part, we may relish something like the khaman doklas, and in the evening part we can go in for parathas, the vada pavs, the bhel puris, the chaat of Delhi. So that can be famous. We have a composite culture. India is such a beautiful place, such a beautiful country, where we just need to follow this in our day-to-day lives. And this place, India, is a great place to stay. It will be a happy place to live in. Our where G is to protect and improve natural environment like forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. That you do not go hunting or killing these creatures. Where you've been given an air gun, you don't start shooting some very small rabbits or some few birds that may be easy to gun down with an air bullet, with an air gun. So you should have some compassion for these creatures also. This is because it sees what kind of temper, what kind of temperament you have as a human. Are you a stable person? You do not turn insolvent doing this. So what kind of temper do you have? So that you have compassion for living creatures, or you don't unnecessarily put out your frustration killing these creatures. If they are there, you should preserve the wildlife, lakes and forests, and not contaminate them in this sense. This is very simple, very basic, very moral, Article 51A. But often we have seen people deviating from it. That is why the very need to put it down across and have it given a constitutional status. And then we move to H, where it is very important, please mark clause H as very important, to develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. This ensures the development of a nation, to have a scientific temper, to see what is new, to come out with new ideas, new ideologies, be intellectual, have this inquiry, have these reforms going around. If something is very old and outdated, we can put in our minds for research and development and can get something new out of it. We talk to people, we have these seminars, we have conferences, we come across, we talk with people internationally, globally. We have these summits, international summits, where people from many countries participate, where funds are there but there are no minds, or there is no research and development to put in, where it can come in from all parts of the globe. It can be put up for the benefit of humankind. If this is done at our end, at an end of an Indian, it shall be something great. It shall be a victory for India on the whole. And I is to safeguard public property and to abjure violence. In violence and riot situations, we often tend to forget that what are we destroying? We are destroying public property, our property. If someone is blazing a bus, putting the bus on fire during the riots, he is actually burning his property. If he is an Indian, if he has paid good amount of money, if part of his taxes go in for buying that, purchasing that bus, if that's the mean of public transport, he is destroying his own property. He is destroying the property of his own house. His house is his own country, his India. Why is he doing so? But at such times we do not. And that is why safeguard public property and to abjure violence is stated together. Again, the beauty of drafting it in the Constitution of India. Why it is stated so together, and why is it so stated? This is something very beautifully placed in the Constitution, where you stop violence, where you try to pacify people. Then it could be sorted out with talks. You can sit across one to one, and then you can finish. You do not need to be very violent, and then you do not need that only stick can be some measure where they can listen, or riots be only the area where people understand. To safeguard public property is ever so important, and not make a mess out of it. It is very expensive, public transport or public property or places, halls where it has been furnished out of state funds. These places are very expensive, and end of the day public is wasting huge amount of money. It is not fair. If it is your money, it is people's money also. You say it's my money, I can ablaze this thing, I can put it on fire. But then other people have also paid the money for that. People have paid tax for that. What about them? It's an injustice to them. What will happen then? So, I is a very beautiful point noted in Fundamental Duties 51A, where J is asking to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavors and achievement. They've been asked to strive towards excellence. The citizens of India are asked to move more towards excellence, to have this spirit of competition, to do more and more globally, to go out, to visit such countries with our knowledge, to talk more about India, to have this position that yes, even in India, we can achieve this. We are also an innovative people, where India is a nation which is actually very innovative, which can actually do wonders and have done wonders to the nation. If not for zero, nothing would have been possible. Not me, not you, not this computer, not the camera that you are viewing me on, nothing. How would you have developed the computer or the computer chip, your beautiful cameras, your handycams, your digicams? They wouldn't have worked without a microprocessor, a computer control, and computer only understands a binary language, 0 and 1. If no 0, no computer. So if you ask what India has given everything. The decimal point and the 0, both are from India. If not that, there wouldn't have been world. Imagine your world without your tabloids and your PCs and everything. Nothing would have been there. So no development and no research would have been taken place, or nothing like emails, or nothing like your Facebook chat in the night that you sit around. No Yahoo Mail or nothing would have been possible. So India has been the prime and the major contributor to such spheres, and more is being asked day in and day out, today, tomorrow, that you just contribute this globally, where K is asking the parent or the guardian to provide education to the child or to his ward, that education be imparted, primary education is given that the child, this is just to eradicate illiteracy levels. Citizens can actually take in charge, can be the guardian of someone. If the parents happen to be illiterate, someone should take a call that I, in my village at least, urge these parents, talk to them. I have been to the cities, I come back to the village, I talk to these parents, send your children to these schools. Do you want them also to be like you? Not knowing how to read and write, not knowing what to do, not going on jobs, leading a poor life. Why? Why do you want this to happen? There should be someone taking up this call, educating them to send them to schools, to send children to schools. So it has been beautifully placed in this whole from A to K, that what needs to be done. You think, you may be talking that it is very basic, it is very simple, but are they being followed in our lives? No, they are not. If they are so basic, why aren't they followed? If they are so very fundamental, what happens when people actually go against them? What happens when people break public property? What happens when people start eve-teasing? Where does this moral sense go? If you call yourselves to be literate, you know, knowing how to read and write is not literate. You know, you should have this sense that how do you deliver when you have actually gained knowledge. When you are an educated person, how do you act in society? You should be aware of it. So we conclude this part from 44 to 51 and 51A, and Article 52 shall be a new chapter, the executive, where we study about the ever so important, the President of India. So this lecture we shall stop here, we shall make an end here. Do try to give in your feedbacks via comments about the lectures, not this lecture, every lecture, or what would you like. I know the comments are being rhetorical and it is boring, you're taking long, but it is not for everyone. Everyone is not like so much into studying of UPSC who has read several books. We with this endeavor are trying to reach out to everyone primarily also. So those who are at a very small stage, who have just begun, who are beginners, it is for everyone. It is for everyone, from beginners to professionals to pro people. But you should bear in mind that it is for everyone. Everyone needs to listen to these long lectures so that if they hear me more, they can think more. They have more time. They have more time to assimilate what I've been trying to say. Talking about some few articles does not take more than 20 minutes, as most of you have stated. I am a bit furious about this point right now, because it has been people who have been trying to do this. It takes 20 minutes, it takes 10 minutes. My dear friend, it takes just 2 minutes to complete and just read it out blankly. But there are people from different level. You may be a professional person knowing and having much knowledge, who has read much number of books. Not everyone is so privileged. So this our endeavor, please let it be to extend it to people. This thought process is also required to be an IAS, that you are a generalist. You take into consideration everything and everybody. You think about everyone. Okay, no, he is an underprivileged, he may be requiring it. You may not require it, but there are many people who require it. So I am not much hurt about this also, but it would be a sincere request to you to have genuine feedbacks. What you need me to talk about, what you need to discuss. You can have it over the phone, or you can put it down in your comment section, and we will start afresh with Article 52 with the executive chapter in our next lecture. So thank you very, very much for a very patient hearing. Thanks from my side. Have a nice day. Thank you.